And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show, and this is going to be episode 238. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, just in a little bit after we have our usual guy bro conversation, we're going to be doing a comic book review on Absolute Martian Manhunter #1. And I'll even reiterate this when we do the video. I was not looking forward to buying this because the art in here, even after I've read it, the art is still unbelievably just not good. But
That's
story was actually
bullshit,
pretty
dude.
interesting.
That is
Art is
such
terrible.
bullshit. No, it is not.
Awful, man. It looks like fucking cotton candy in a rainbow. It looks gross, honestly.
That is quite possibly probably the second worst take I've ever heard you say.
But I did say women shouldn't vote.
Okay, I don't care about your political beliefs, but your comic book stuff, the fact that you think this art is bad is unbelievable to me. This art is actually very good, and it's
how much of the DC Comics shill paychecks coming in for now?
I don't. What do you? Just because it's different?
It was a joke. You're supposed to be like, yeah, I'm getting paid a lot of money, bro.
No, I'm talking about the art. I'm not shilling for DC. If the art, if I thought it sucked, I would tell you it sucked.
You were shilling for fucking Night Terrors, and now we have an omnibus of that.
Oh, get out of here, dude! I'm not shilling for Night Terrors.
I have next year for your birthday.
Against Night Terror.
Next year for your birthday, we have to do a crowd fund to get you the Night Terrors omnibus for you to review it.
No,
we need your brain to explode.
And that's sad too, because like that's the only way that I would review it too. If someone like was like, "Here, I like your," I'd be like, "God damn it!"
God, man, when I talked about the solicitations of it in my comic book Markwatch episode, the newest one, oh my god, I was like, damn, this is 1,500 pages for all that. What? Why couldn't they have just broken it into like 2 hardcovers? Like half 600 pages, the other half 600 pages. Like, god damn.
I don't understand how you think that this is bad art. Like, that is perfectly fine. I don't get what you're I think you're missing the entire
doesn't hit for me.
It.
I
think you're missing the entire point of this comic.
Who's
Everything is supposed to look drab and gray.
It looks like a wee bro did the art on it.
No, it doesn't. I'll say this. You definitely know when no one has done drugs, or the person you're talking to doesn't know what they're talking about when it's drugs.
I forgot. When anything alcoholic.
When everything that's psychedelic, all of a sudden it's weed.
I'm just pointing out. I'm talking to the person that had a recovery at a rehab, so I'm pretty sure you would know more about. Well, you didn't do drugs. You did like. Wait, you're an alcoholic. No. Oh, you forgot. That's a white person thing. You guys do meth and everything. Good lord.
I didn't do meth. That's actually probably one of the few drugs I've never ever touched or done.
Coke?
Oh, I've done. Dude, I've snorted half of Bolivia.
How did that not fry your brain?
It's like, again, it's someone who doesn't have an understanding of drugs. Like you know television drugs.
See, then again, I would even, if I was in court, I would literally do my court sessions like the way Law and Order does them. Shit that would never happen. Like dude, oh my god.
Stuff like you don't hallucinate when you smoke pot. Like shit like that. Defense, like, yes, is it a mild hallucinogenic? Yes. Things get more colorful and stuff like that, but not.
So I would appear more white to you if you were.
No, you'd be a denser black. You'd be second grade black.
So I forget, the hallucinogenics is when you take shrooms, right?
Like it's hallucinogenic, like shrooms, acid, like I know there's other stuff that people take nowadays that's just designer drug worthy.
Yeah.
Like what's the one that's mescaline? I've taken a lot of that. That was crazy. Woo. Like that's another one. Like psychedelics, I'll never like take a psychedelic ever again.
What happened? You just had one of those bad fucking hallucinogens?
Yes and no. Yes, that it was like I had a bad time whenever it kicked in, right? But
what did you see? The white horse?
No. You don't see stuff like that. That you're talking about like DMT and shit.
You ever take that?
Yeah, I've smoked DMT a couple times.
Oh, good lord! You're gonna.
It lasts for like 5 minutes, and literally you're like half passed out.
I wonder in your hallucinations, did
Real.
you have a did you ever have that thing like Rob Zombie did for Halloween 2 where he fucking Michael Myers is imagining his mom is on like a horse riding it?
No, dude. Like I'd say this. It's more like you see things like the patterns in the world. It's so hard to explain, but it's almost like if you could break down the world into like molecules and actually see them and see the edges of air and stuff, like it's like that. It's a wild experience. Like I've always said to people, like I'll never tell my kids to do this, but like I think everybody should take acid at least once. Because it does open your mind to seeing things differently. At least it did for me. But like we were getting back to, yes, I had a very, very bad trip. Like I didn't know this is like, like I said, when I was young, dude, like, and I left the house, I got thrown into like a world of like, I didn't have anybody to say, hey,
Yeah, I
no,
remember
don't
you
take
got
that.
kicked out at like
Don't
15 or some shit.
Don't take that or don't do this. So like I ate a freaking 3/4 of dried shrooms. I ate freaking like 10, 11 grams of dried shrooms and fucking I took like 6 or 4 hits of acid at the same time within like an hour of each other. Yeah, dude, like I was so fucked up like and didn't know what was happening. So like I freaked out like for the first few hours, but that trip lasted 2 days.
Did you crash on someone's couch?
No, dude, you can't sleep while you're tripping.
Gosh.
It's impossible. That's another reason why it's too much of a commitment. Like I can't do it. My mind can't handle it anymore. And like I haven't taken a hallucinogenic in it could be 20 years.
Gee, so the last time you took 2003?
It probably even before that. It might have been in the 90s.
God damn.
Yeah.
Holy mother of
God.
Because
I knew like, and I only really did them for like 2 years, and it was always in the summertime. So like it was only like 2 years worth.
Mm.
But I ate a lot of ecstasy on them. Like that, dude, I'm telling you, like I'm an open book, dude. I did a lot of things that I'm not proud of, but I lived by this motto. Not all drugs are good. Some of them are great.
So you were essentially like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street minus the money when he was snorting that meth out of that hooker's ass.
No, I've never smoked or snorted meth. Meth is the only like meth, PCP, that stuff. That's something I've never done.
So like since you did most of them, let's like weed for example. This is like people call the gateway drug.
Weed is nothing that bad. No.
Okay.
At all. Like the comparison is not even remotely there. Like now, if you have zero tolerance to it, the way weed is now, like with like once drugs become designer and you can grow it a certain way and put whatever you want in it, you know what I mean? Then yeah, I could see possibly like it being so strong that you can't smoke. Like if I smoked weed right now, dude, I'd be a wreck because I haven't smoked in years. Like I'm straight and clean as it as it gets. But like coke though, dude, I had a problem. I had a problem there.
A white person and snorting coke, is that not the most stereotypical thing ever? Oh my god, man.
That's not the dude. There's more. What are you talking about?
You guys are known for like snorting and like school shootings.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
That's a West Coast thing. Maybe on the East Coast is different for you guys. Like
dude,
every white person I've ever known is such a hard dude. Literally, my friend James, who helped me put the PC together last week, he just dealt with his cousin who was an
So are you on this
PC
head. Now?
Yeah.
Are you now?
Yeah. We did the well, James wanted to stream us basically putting it together. I told him this. I don't want to buy parts for it. I just want to buy it pre-built because it's way easier. You just hook things up and you just put the cords in, then turn it on. He wanted to be like, let's just buy this fan. Let's buy this like case.
Oh, the best way to do it is to buy it separately.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's just for me.
It's simple though, dude. Like, dude, okay, what's more stereotypical? A white person doing coke or a black dude not wanting to finish a job?
I think, or black guys not working because they can't finish a job if they haven't applied.
But like my point in reference to you.
Oh yeah.
You're just like, oh, God forbid I connect these things into the motherboard like a Lego. God forbid this.
This was my mindset behind it. My mindset was like, it doesn't matter how much money I'll spend on it. Even if I buy it pre-built, it's gonna be going what 10, 12 years anyway. So even if I were to buy the parts individually and put them together, it's negligible
if you
to
buy
me.
it and do it yourself, you can just add stuff and like compatibility wise.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah,
It's a lot easier. You can extend the life out of it. But I get it. I do understand that consumerism. I totally do.
Yeah, because people have said you can save money, but for me, I kind of value time with these things rather than money because if I
you're
get 10
an
years
idiot,
of use,
so I mean,
yeah,
we get it.
yeah, I'm a Shikamaru. Let's be honest, I got that genius in me. Like if I get 10 years out of this thing, which is what the Best Buy guy said, we're gonna get 10 years out of the thing. Good enough for me. And keep in mind, it's not just 10 years with this base model. Like you said, I can even like add parts to it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you can, but like, I just look at it as like whenever
that's because Michael, you always speak L's.
Whenever you have like, and you pick out your own motherboard, you're not just picking it out for what you're running at that point in time. You're picking it out for with the way that the computer age goes, it changes and cycles so many, like 6 months down the line, that could be obsolete. And especially when you're rendering video and doing stuff like that. That's all. That's kind of why I say that. The best thing for you, dude, if you want to do like real videos, go get a refurbished like MacBook Air or a MacBook Pro. You're by far
you're right.
The best for audio. That's what I like. If you ever looked at my videos, you see how nice they are. Like
Apple computers are really good for video editing.
For audio,
we had
video.
them. I had them a while ago. Yeah.
So that's what I use whenever I edit and stuff. I just have a version of Final Cut Pro, and it's simple in there, but it's just an easy, yeah.
No, I remember like back when I was in high school when I took a film course or whatever, because I had this dream of being a director. The whole class was full of the whole MacBooks or whatever, or the ones that are considered the PCs for Apple. Those were amazing. That was just 10 years ago. Yeah, the iMacs. Those are great 10 years ago. I'd imagine they're even way better now.
An iMac right there.
Good Lord. Damn.
I do.
They cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh God. How much are you talking for like a base model?
That one I think I paid $2,500.
Jeez. Like you have the laptop or you have like the PC?
Oh no, I have an old iMac, which is just the screen with everything built into it. I have a newer iMac that it has it built into it, but it also has like this little tower box that you can add stuff into. And I have a MacBook Pro.
Hell, good Lord. When can I get some love?
And an iPad. I use the iPad quite a bit.
That's what's crazy. Do you find yourself using it often, or it's just like, I kind of have it?
No,
you use it? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because if there's something like, say, I want to buy a digital comic, it's the best to read on an iMac or a MacBook or iPad. Jesus Christ.
Have you always upgraded your iPads, or you just kept the one you always had?
No. I kept the one that I have. There's no for what I do. There's no reason to upgrade. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Because you know the thing with Apple people, they feel like whenever when something new comes out, they always have to upgrade, and it's like,
well, that's Apple people. Like, I use Apple products. Like I said, I use the phone because that's the phone that they send me, that my job sends me. So I mean, like, if I didn't, I'd probably have a flip phone. As long as it made phone calls, that's all I need.
You sound like this one old guy I know. We always tell him, why don't you get a new phone? He's like, well, this phone, it calls people and it texts, and it's a flip phone. It's like, all right, this guy's like 60, 70 years old.
Yeah, but like that's the thing though. What if all you care to do is make phone calls? Like, I don't need a television in my pocket.
Yeah.
I have a TV in my living room, and down here, and in my bedroom, and in my kitchen. So I mean, like, why do I need a television in there?
The only thing I need it for is to just play music, because I'm not going to get an MP3 player at this point. That's obsolete. Because the phones have it where you can just do an app and put your music on there.
Right, and I just where you like when you're walking or on the bus or something.
Yeah. That's all I do. Yeah.
That makes sense. You know,
all
I understand.
Make calls, play music.
But
another thing. Let's go over.
And I get it. I get it though.
The other thing, slightly, we're going to cover a little bit. It's not going to be the whole show, guys. Because I am going to cover this in a video, maybe with someone when I get all these receipts ready. We have to talk about the WNBA. So I remember when I was doing one of my League of Legends, streams where I was obviously clapping people, completely destroying people. It's what I do. I'm the king of trash talk and I'm the king of League. Obviously joking. So
I don't see you as the king of trash talk. You could possibly fool me into thinking that you're great at League of Legends.
And
but
white.
Trash talk though, you have to understand what you're saying for it to be trash talk.
Nathan, I got it out of him. He's finally trash talking me. I love it. But no, last year when I was talking to James and Chaz after I watched an NFL game or something like that. We're having just our typical bro conversation when gaming on or playing League, and James was like, "Hey, you gonna watch the WNBA this year?" And I'm like, "What the fuck? Why would I ever watch that?" Because normal reasons why you wouldn't watch that as anybody would apply. He said you should watch this girl named Caitlin Clark. And then the season was just picking up, and she's obviously on the Indiana Fever. And I saw her play, and I was like, this girl's pretty fucking good. Because she was like really hyped up if you didn't see her in college, because I didn't see her in college. So that was just my first introduction to her. And I saw her play, and I saw pretty much all of her games up until the All-Star game. And that All-Star game was legit one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. That was just trash. And I saw a few games after that, and I could see why she was very good. She played very good, dribbling, shooting, triple doubles, obviously passes, scoring, rebounds, all that stuff, But the crazy thing about Caitlin Clark now is that
dribbling the ball, she was good. You sound like such a noob.
I'm just saying, the way you talk about Angel Reese dribbling.
No, because that's what she is doing. She's dribbling. Caitlin Clark has handles.
Fair
fucking
enough.
Angel Reese is like fucking, I don't know what that is.
That's guerrilla warfare.
That's fucking Jesus Christ.
Remember that back in the day, the one commentator against Serena Williams got in trouble because he called tactics like guerrilla warfare. And he was like, I didn't mean it like that. People are stupid these days. Holy shit. People remember that's a long time ago. But Angel Reese, people are like, oh, that's Caitlin Clark's rival. So I watched Angel Reese games, and
that's
God leave.
Rival.
It's like going from having steak, mashed potatoes, a nice full course meal that your wife would give to you because you work very hard. Then you go to Angel Reese, and that's like going from like that to like Spam and Vienna sausages. They're not even comparable. Like, it's literally not the same. She's just objectively worse. The only thing that you could even debate that she's better at is just the rebounds. And that really doesn't fall into her hands because she doesn't actually rebound to the point where she can, cover up and actually shoot the ball. She gets the rebounds because she's tall.
I'm pretty sure 33% of her rebounds are off her own missed shots.
Yeah. Like, so even that, which is a point for her, it's really debatable because
this could tell you all you need to know about her. When she was having her double streak, right? They were playing the Fever and they were getting stomped. And Caitlin came out with like 5 minutes left. The whole Indiana team came out. All of Angel's team came out except her.
Mm-hmm.
So she can get the 10 rebounds or 10 points, because at the time leading in with like 3 minutes left, I think she had 4 points. Yeah.
Oh,
and that was last year. It was ridiculous. It was so stupid. Like, you went up against like the C squad and barely squeaked out 10 points.
And the thing that I wanted to bring up, because I didn't get a chance to really bring it up last year on the other podcast I had with someone else, was that it would really suck if a player as good as her didn't win any titles. That would actually suck really bad, because a player this good at her position, that's kind of what happens. But the other thing I wanted to bring up, because everyone's talking about it right now, and it was the fouling situation. So I want people to really understand there's a lot of different context and a lot of different nuance here. So you have the media trying to spin things, then you have people on, let's say, social media with their own individual various ways of spinning narratives. Then you also have Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. There's like 4 different ways to spin this. Then you must also consider the fact that the WNBA, as what Laps had just said, earlier before we started the show, that individual game they just had right there, Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky, that's the highest viewed game they've ever had. And keep in mind how long the WNBA has been running, that in 2025, in May of this year, where you're a DILF, you're like 50 and I'm 30, They just had their highest viewed game ever, and it's in 2025. That's actually insane to think about.
Well, they've had good players, right? But they don't market those stars. Like, regardless if Caitlyn's white or black, the thing is have there been players that are better than her, like Cheryl Swoops, probably, right? That were better, but they didn't do what she does. They're not pulling up from mid-court, which people like now, like that's the trend. The WNBA was just layups, and whether you like it or not, like, it wasn't marketable to a fan perspective of seeing someone do something that you're incapable of doing. That's the big thing with stars. When you have a star in a sport, you watch them because they're doing stuff that you yourself are incapable of doing. And you might be able to make a half-court shot, but you're not going to be able to do it with the amount of accuracy or the amount of percentage-wise that she does it. So, I mean, they have a star on their hands, and they need to market her as such. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing is going to be the next Olympic Games, when, Caitlyn's obviously going to be on that team. Is Angel Reese going to be on that team? And then what happens then?
To be fair, they were on the All-Star team together last year, and they didn't have any issues from what I know.
Well, so that's the thing, though. It's the All-Star game. They're not trying for something, and they're not trying to win. Yeah. They don't care. They're there because they're getting paid, and they get free shoes, and they get other stuff. They do.
Yeah, I would just hope that they did
same thing with NBA players
last year. That they would just kind of have like this unspoken rule. Hey, I don't like you, you don't like me, but let's just kind of play for the game.
I don't think I think it's a Angel Reese is jealous.
Oh no,
that's what I think.
Yeah,
I don't even know if Caitlyn really cares about her.
Yeah, because after you guys saw the play of her doing that foul to her, which is a foul that happens, and if like literally, that's how you can tell people don't watch the games. Literally, if you just watch the NBA right now in the games that we just had, you would see that constantly. This is why people keep saying in the NBA they're tired of watching it because it's just foul baiting. Believe me, I watched enough games this season to see it. I've seen it literally every single game. So like if someone said, "Oh well, that was just really harsh. She was just trying to assault her." Right off just the base of that, what you just said, I would assume you didn't watch the games. And keep in mind, she didn't even like foul her hard. Like Angel Reese is just being a crybaby. Like literally, that wasn't even hard. That was nothing as hard as what Angel Reese did to her teammate. She aggressively, literally pushed her. It wasn't anything to do with dribbling, anything to do with like stopping a shot or hitting someone's hand. She aggressively, literally took her hands like this and pushed the other black girl. That's what she did. That's not a foul. That's actually an assault. You cannot do that. What the hell is wrong with you?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's the WNBA. Who cares?
That's the crux of everything. I would also say that too.
I hope the league succeeds. I hope it does. But this is when I'll start paying attention to the WNBA. And I'll be honest. When I go outside to the bank or to the store and I see a WNBA jersey on a human being, that's when I'll be like, oh, wow, okay. But yeah, they had 2.2 million through the whole game, and they topped out at 3.1 million. That's incredible for a WNBA game. That's that's amazing. Mm-hmm. That's more than the men get during the regular season on ESPN and TNT.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, like, obviously people are looking for something new, and there's also a rivalry there. What is there not in the regular NBA? Rivalries.
Yeah.
Nobody, like Anthony Edwards is like one of the few guys, whether you like him or not, that is trying to establish that. He's talking shit. He's saying all sorts of stuff to everybody that will listen. And guess who I watch every game of? Anthony Edwards, because I know he's awesome, but he's also going to be talking that shit, trying to build that,
Draymond Green, he's not
Draymond does it, but he's such a fool.
Yeah, but he's not doing it with the intention that I'm trying to like build the league or be the face of the league. He's doing it because he's just a fucking moron. He's just
a thug. He acts like he's this amazing defender, and like I'm just like, dude. Whatever.
Yeah, he was literally being like, "Oh my god, I'm sick of you guys making me out to be an angry black man." I'm like, "Are you watching the same games? We're not."
I'm sick and tired of him thinking he's on the same level as Dennis Rodman. That is very irritating. Guess what? Dennis Rodman played in the era where there was hand checking, but that people forget when he first came up with the Pistons. There was no hand checking rule then. And guess what? He was still just as good as a defender. He won DPOY with the freaking Pistons and 2 championships. He was a problem for people. Look what he did to Magic Johnson in the finals, where the Pistons finally, got over. That was, not Magic, sorry, Scottie Pippen in the Eastern Conference Finals. Look what he did to him. That was a problem, dude. Like, that was a problem.
The other thing to bring up with this, like people are gonna ask, is like essentially what the WNBA put out, that they were gonna investigate, the usual typical corpo speak of like, we're gonna investigate actions of racism, homophobia, blah blah, all the fucking useless buzzwords. And I was trying to rationalize, what are you gonna investigate? Fans booing? Keep in mind, this is what Draymond Green and Angel Reese do, and I know they're doing it intentionally because I've seen people do this in my life. What people will do is that they know they can get away with stuff, but then they do it, and then they act surprised when other people call them out. So like Draymond Green, he would maybe against the Rockets, I would agree he probably should have knocked them out because they're fucking weirdos. They were just aggressively fouling in inappropriate ways. That I'll give him leeway for. But Draymond Green does some of the most foul shit, and then he has the nerve to think that if he points out, if I'm an angry black man, then more people will be on my side. He knows him just being black will give him a free pass. They know that. That's the reason why they're doing it.
Well, because
we know, let's be honest, ESPN isn't gonna shit on them. They're not doing that, No,
but I look at it like this: if we stop talking about it in terms of race, then it'll have to go away. So I just don't even, as soon as someone brings race into the sports argument, unless there was something that happened with a specific person or fan, a specific incident, right? I can't claim racism because it's too, it's too much. It's too, you're accounting
There's one we
for
last year, remember? There's one we can't.
In there. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, is there individual acts of racism? Of course, 100%. Of course there is. That's everyday life. I'm not excusing it.
Oh yeah.
But like, dude, seriously, like, come on, man.
Like, if people want to get mad at Caitlin Clark for doing a basic NBA foul, last year, I'm not talking about race itself. Last year, when Caitlin Clark is just doing a layup, Angel Reese takes her arm right here and actually aggressively hits her in her eye right there and knocks her down. Why did the WNBA or ESPN talk about how disgusting that was?
Caitlin Clark had more like personal fouls and technical fouls against her than anybody else in the league last year.
And one other light-skinned black lady, after the play's over and they're going to like a timeout or whatever, walks up to her and just pushes her. And I think if you could read her lips, she says "white bitch," something like that. You're probably like, okay, that's a little bit of racism right there. But like,
I mean, it is, but you got to remember, like, that stuff though. Like, here's the thing: you can go on TV and call someone white boy or this white. You can do that.
Yeah.
Because we've been programmed that you can't say anything derogatory towards another race.
Yeah.
And if you say any of them, to be honest, like Asian hate, like all that stuff, like Jewish people, all that stuff. Like, if I were to say, oh, he's a Jew, right? And I don't mean it like he's Jewish. Like, that could be construed that way. So that's why I tend to stay away from those conversations and arguments personally, because I look at it like this, dude. If you're gonna find, if you want it bad enough, you're gonna find something in everything. You could find it anywhere. If you want that argument bad enough, that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, it's ridiculous. As soon as that started, did you notice that as soon as that started popping off, now everything is about race?
Yeah. And no, I agree with you too. I whenever a situation like this arises, whether it's not basketball and it's just everyday life.
Right.
Yeah. People go, like, I remember I was having this conversation with someone and they were like, but what if this black guy got dirty looks from a white guy? It's like, who cares?
What?
Like, so that's not an act of racism. That's, I mean, people call it a microaggression. That's stupid buzzword shit. What if, guys, in life, it doesn't matter sometimes about race. What if someone just doesn't like you? Had nothing to do with your skin color. They just don't like you. Like, what happened to that? People just don't like you because they just might not like you. That's just how people have functioned for, like, I don't know, ever since we've been alive,
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Every time it's because it's always race this and race that. It's never about the actual intentions and merit of what we're going to be going over. It's always, well, Caitlin Clark is white, and that's the only reason why she's getting attacked like this. Keep in mind, not saying that couldn't be a possibility. It probably most likely is. But if that's the automatic go-to assumption, then is that all of
If
our
that's the
conversation?
case, why are we watching your sport then?
Right? Yeah. You know,
if it's just filled with a bunch of racists, why are we supporting it?
God, yeah, me as someone who heavily dislikes black women, the fact that I would even give any of my time to a black woman is disgusting. Like, you know, guys, you know how much seeing her cry and break down and her getting, that's just called. I mean, people believe in karma. That's injuries is a terrible basketball player. She can't dribble properly. Her rebounding is the only thing decent about her. She acts like a Shaniqua. I bet you she stinks. I guarantee you that pussy stank actually. And she's
Why? Why is that a thing you bring up? What does that have to do with anything?
It's a statistical thing about black women. Just pointing it out.
Oh, just shut up. Let's talk about the book, man. Please.
So yeah, I'm saying she got everything
early tomorrow.
She got everything she deserved after what she did to Caitlin Clark last year. Fuck her.
Let's talk about this book that you think has terrible art.
Oh no, but that's not debatable. Unless you have.
Sure it is.
You know what? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, sir. And I think that the Megalodon is still alive.
Fantastic page. What are you talking about? That is incredible.
Good job. Good job, man. Honestly, at that point, I literally thought he was shot at that moment when we started it. All right, we're going to set up the review here in just a moment.
I just can't talk. I can't do it. Like, it bothers me.
What happened to you?
Nothing. It's just I'm so sick and tired of these conversations, dude. I work for a government contractor. Do you know, like, I get lists of pronouns?
I imagine you would. Yeah.
Yeah. Like dudes, I instead of, that's why I always use their rank and then their last name, because I've had phone calls with spouses is that where they're like, I am Zim. And I went, what? What the fuck is that? In my head, I fucking muted my microphone. I said, hold on, please. Went and looked. It said Zim and Zer. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, oh my God, dude. Like, the hell? Like, no way.
Oh,
no,
God.
I will not know. And I had to, so that's why I made the rule of, like, when I check that you have to check 2 identity markers to go through. I asked their rank now. So I'm like, all right, corporal, dude, blah, blah, blah.
Story. Now I told you before we started the show that I went to the store and got groceries today. I'm not shitting you guys. Literally walked into the parking lot to go to the store, got the shopping cart and everything, you know, hot, rich, good-looking guy like me. Literally is a troon. Not shitting you. A Hispanic troon. You could tell it's a dude filming TikToks out of his trunk. And then what he was saying was, he was like, I don't know why I can't get straight men to date me. There's nothing different about me than being a woman. I heard this. I was like, I almost burst into tears. I had to hold it together so hard. It was literally.
That's my guess.
He didn't notice what I mean, he looked at me, he waved like he was trying to hit on me. I was like, I'm good. He
waved. So now if
winked at me.
If you're a freaking gay person and you wave at MSK, he thinks you want to suck his dick.
Hey, he gave me the winky face and the wave. You know what that means with girls.
No.
Oh, dang it. Yeah, literally, I'm not kidding you guys. I was like, wait a minute. That's some internet shit brought to life. Dude is filming TikToks being like, hey, straight men, you don't want to date me. What's wrong with me? I'm just like dating a real woman. Well, I was going to say, buddy, real women don't go around saying they're real women. That's not what a real woman ever would say.
Except for the balls. Like, dude, I've never called my friends ever and went, hey, just so you know, like, I'm a guy, right? I'm so much of a guy. Please tell me how much of a guy I am.
Have you ever went up to your wife and you're like, hey, honey, are you a real woman?
Nope.
No, these conversations aren't ever happening.
I saw those babies come out of there.
That's Oh my goodness. But then their argument's like, well, some women can't get pregnant. Yeah, that's true. But they also have periods. Can you have a period? And then it's like, it's always a circle with these people. It's never like,
I don't even get into that whole thing. I just say, well, whenever, the police find you in an obvious ditch after your kablooey, what do they put down there? They're going to put down John Doe.
or Bruce. Remember Sophie Campbell is the new Supergirl writer. That motherfucker, Sophie. That motherfucker looked like a
Bruce.
like Stephen Bruce Jenner. Golly. Comics Dad, what's up, man? Yeah, we're gonna review Martian right now. Just wanted to make sure I brought some life into Lapse with that story. I'm not kidding. It was one of the most weird. I was like, it's like self-awareness was lacking on this person so hard. I was gonna just be like,
well, I mean, dude, look, I'm gonna give it the old who gives a shit.
Do you want to give me a hug?
No.
Damn it. I thought white people are supposed to be loving and caring. I thought I'm one of you guys. I'm transracial.
You're trans something, all right.
Well, people say I'm transcended. I've become a god amongst men. My brain has expanded in ways that you guys will never.
This?
Me.
You said people. You're not people.
Well, I technically count as a Okay. Well, time to have some fun reading. Doing a comic book. All right. Let's have some fun. We have to make sure that Lapse is alive and well and happy, and he's going to be giving away all his comic books to charity to these poor black kids,
Sure.
They wouldn't be reading anyway because they can't read and they couldn't afford it. So,
God.
they couldn't read. Don't lie to me.
That's
oh my God.
Okay.
1 out of 10.
That's
pretty
not true.
All right, 2 out of 10.
I'm not going into statistical analysis with you.
Good Lord.
Good God.
Don't worry. I've watched enough view clips to know I've had enough of women for the day. I'm good. No more. I need to hear nothing from a woman. If people ask me why I don't hate women, but when women start talking, my brain starts not listening.
Well, maybe you're surrounded by the worst women because most of the women I know are awesome.
Maybe it's just the women I work with. They're just the absolute worst.
Dude, the ladies that I work with, man, they're great. They're fantastic.
All right, let's have some fun. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a comic book review on Absolute Martian Manhunter #1. So, if you guys have not had a chance to check out our previous comic book reviews on the Absolute titles that are currently out, and before that, if you guys want to know our thoughts and opinions on, let's say Green Lantern Back in Action Volume 1, we did a review of the Absolute Power hardcover. We did a review of the DC All In #1 special. Any of our DC comic book reviews, I would recommend going and check those out. You guys are going to have some awesome content in those conversations because I do pride myself on being a top G Riz master. But all jokes aside, so we have reviewed Absolute Batman issues 1 through 6. I've reviewed Absolute Wonder Woman issues 1 through 3 so far, and we've also did a review of Absolute Superman issue 1, and now we are moving on to the next crop of characters. So after we got the reveal of Absolute Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, the next 3 characters for the Absolute Universe was Absolute Martian Manhunter, Absolute Flash, and Absolute Green Lantern. And as you guys know, for good old John Jones, my guy, well, it's crazy in comic books. He doesn't really have much, honestly. If you just literally look up his comic history and everything about him, he doesn't really have that many ongoing runs. It's a character where he's more popular in the media of superheroes for DC rather than the actual books themselves. He
got popular being on the cartoon.
Yeah, it was the Justice League animated series and a limited.
The Ostrander run is really good of Martian Manhunter.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the Spectre. I think that actually just came out, the omnibus, which is cool. So I have to go buy that. And yeah, Martian Manhunter is just really cool character. But I think I think it's one of those things where it's like he's basically Martian Superman, with some extra powers. So it's like they dive harder into the telepathic abilities and the invisibility rather than the amazing feats of strength and, all this other stuff that he could do. I think it's one of those things where they don't want to take away from Superman, possibly. But he works really good on a team, I think.
So he's a nice team player, a nice heart of the team. He's a character, if you've seen him in like Smallville and I would say Supergirl, or maybe you saw Zack Snyder's Justice League and you saw the reveal of Martian Manhunter at the end of that movie. It's a character, after everything I've seen of him throughout the media, it's a cool character. I like him, but I could understand why this character can't hold an ongoing series. Because, I only know a little bit about him. So the only thing I know is that he fire killed all of his people, so he's scared of fire. He's not weak to fire, he's scared of it. People get that confused a lot. The only villains I know from him are Malafalak and the White Martians are some of his villains. Those are the only two I know. Those are the two that
I don't know as much about him.
That's literally all I got. That is all I got. Oh, forgot. And he's super powerful. He can shape shift. He's a character where why is he always taking the form of a black guy? Why do people assume just because you're green, you're black? Where did that come from? People think Piccolo is black because he's in the Mechion. I don't know where that comes from. But as you guys know, because I will have to eat some crow on this one. I'm not admitting I'm wrong because I'm still half right. Technically. So I was not going to buy
right.
Oh my God. So I was not going to buy this because I saw just the cover art of this, the initial reveal page of it. And that looks still to me pretty bad, actually. So I was like, you know what? I just don't really want to buy this.
And you got to stop saying that the art looks bad. Because it doesn't look bad at all. It does not. I don't like the way that the Martian's face is drawn. I don't like that. But the art in this book is not bad at all. I don't know where you're coming up with that.
I would give it this doesn't appeal to me. That doesn't scream exciting.
Okay, that I understand. It doesn't appeal to you. That makes sense. But saying it's bad art is bizarre to me because they get to go places in this book that no other book gets to go, and they get to try things that nobody else gets to try. And I thought that the way that they're showing the Martian Manhunter's powers is incredible. I thought, what an idea. You're bringing color into this drab universe. And I don't know, I thought that was smart. And so a lot of his rogues, I guess if you want to call them that, is, he's got Despero, his brother Malefic, the White Martians. I can't remember. I don't know. I know enough about him through other comics, but not his own single running series. That was one character I never bought or got into.
Yeah. So for me, it was pretty much just laughs that said, hey, I bought it. It's not that bad because it didn't look promising based off of what we saw of Absolute Green Lantern and Absolute Flash. So I was like, you know what? Since you gave it a seal of approval, I was like, you know what? I'll add it to my pull list and we'll read and review it. And keep in mind, the reason why it's not as bad of a read and review for this series is because this is only going to be 6 issues. So they only solicited 6 issues.
That's not that. How is that? It's I understand that, but that doesn't make it better or worse.
Okay, from a business standpoint, I understand they're kind of testing the market because if it fizzle out after 6 issues, there's no real reason to keep continuing. So they're kind of
it's linking together a story that
they're not thinking that. They don't care about that. They care about obviously.
That's not true.
Bottom line.
Did you watch the Scott Snyder interview I told you to
watch? I got 25 minutes in. I'm almost done with it.
You should have already heard that, yes, they do have plans of linking everything together.
Yeah, but luckily for this series, it has been selling very well, so they're probably going to continue it after 6 issues, but originally planned it was going to be
we don't know. If I'll say this, maybe they'll continue it later, but this is supposed to interconnect some things. Because he's supposed to, once he realizes the powers and he can control them, obviously he's going to feel presences that nobody else can feel.
That was the best part of the book. Not even just what was happening in the actual world he's in, was seeing Martian Manhunter kind of like forming in a different kind of world setting, and then kind of seeing it through his eyes. That was really cool. Like
I thought it was the powers were happening and he doesn't understand what is going on. And when we're seeing the powers manifest, that's the colors. And each thing, like his sense of smell is a color. His sense of vision is another color. His hearing is a color. So all of those things are making up this visible spectrum that he's seeing. And that's exactly why the art and the coloring was so gray and so drab. It was to make, when you see the Martian Manhunter's powers, that's very colorful and expressive, that it means so much more. Because you should be wondering, like, what is going on with this?
I will say this: if you're someone that potentially did a whole bunch of drugs, this would be the book for you. Just saying, if you got...
That is stupid.
I think that's why you like it so much. This reminds you of yourself when you were laid out on DMT or some shit.
No, it doesn't. It just has a psychedelic coloring to it. It's like, do you see him ingest any drugs? No.
I mean, he could have. No, he's a cop. He can't take drugs. There's no way.
Do you see him doing any of that stuff? No.
I mean, technically he couldn't. He's cop.
I mean, there's a lot of cops that do drugs.
You know what? I, at one point, was a cop, and I had to take down some white people. I felt reparations came. I'm joking, guys. So, overall, I would say this. I liked reading this issue 1 way better than I liked reading Absolute Superman. The dialogue in this book was actually really, really cool. The detective stuff was really cool. The balancing out of the worlds was really cool. Martian Manhunter's forming of it was awesome. Just, man, and you know what's crazy? In issues like this, they don't really do the mystery very well. The mystery is kind of like a side thing that usually gets done.
No, it's done good.
For the very end. The mystery was really played up here. You didn't get to... It's not revealed what really happens yet, but I like how they gave you enough here to keep you interested. Now I can understand why this sold very well. People bought it and they're like, you know what? This is actually not that bad. This is pretty good overall. And this is what you need in a 6-issue series. And I think Scott Snyder, like you mentioned earlier, talked about this in one of his recent interviews. Comic books need to get back to serialized storytelling where you get a good book right then and there, and you're not waiting to like have it being written for trade or written for omnibus and all that shit. You should be getting... Essentially, I understand that you can have banger issues every single month or week or bi-weekly or whatever, but it should be good enough to the point where like you're talking about it afterwards, you're having conversation about it. This is, I think you could argue, is the idea that they want a good, awesome book that'll keep you talking to the next one. Because it feels like when we're going through some of these books, even on here when I'm talking to Labs, kind of feels like some of these creators are just waiting to get to that final issue for the trade. And hey, we got to 6 issues. We got to issue 6. Now I just give you a banger. But I'll ask you, man, since you were the one that had us pretty much do this, what really struck out to you about it? Was it characterization, the dialogue, the art itself?
So the reason why I picked this up is because whenever I was going to grab whatever I was grabbing for that week, I sat there and I looked at it, and there was only one left. So I picked it up. I had it in my hand, and I went up to the front and I said, "Hey, you only have one of these." And he's like, "Dude, I've had to restock that twice." I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Huh, is it good?" He's like, "I haven't gotten around to read it yet, but a lot of people like it." And I went, "Oh, that's interesting." So whenever I went home, I read it, and it's so different than what we are getting out of the mainline continuity and out of the Absolute Universe, that it's so different that this feels more like an Absolute or Ultimate Universe character than any of the other things that we've read. Because it's not just, he's not, a Martian under different circumstances.
Yeah, so we talked about this before. It feels like, even though some of the titles are very good, I know you like them, and some of them I like too, but it feels like there's, when you assume and think the intention behind a universe like this is it's different. It's going to be a different take on the character. It's not going to be basically whatever the version that they were, but in a different setting. That's kind of what it feels like for some of the absolute characters, even with Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. It feels like it's just like they have slightly less things than you remember they're known for, and they're just put in a different setting. That's really all it is. There's something really significantly that different about them, other than the main things that you know them for. But with this one, this really does kind of feel like, in my opinion, a true absolute title where it's not the same at all. Like if John Jones from the main universe met this one, they'd be like, "What? That's cool. You're different," you know. But if like the absolute Batman met the Batman that we're talking about from the main universe, the one that's in like J-Land Limited and all the other ones, right? Only that's different about him is he has money. He doesn't have his money, and he has his mom.
Well, there's a lot different, but yes, it's
the surface level. On
the surface level things are very, very similar. You know, like it's still Batman, Bruce Wayne, you know, guy. Yes. Now, could there be a reveal that maybe the Martian Manhunter made himself into this human form and it's starting to come out, like something happened that repressed him? Yes.
True. Yeah.
But the way that we're seeing it, even if that's the reveal, it's still being told in a completely different way than what we're used to.
Yeah.
Like, yes, John Jones came and he became a detective and all that stuff. Right. It's right here. But we don't know where it's playing out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the son's, you know, later in the middle of the book sculpting that thing. And when he's like, when he points to it and is like, "That's you," that, like I said, I'm not a fan of the face of it, but that was fantastic. That was creepy as hell.
Yeah. What was the other thing? Oh, I will say this. The internal conversations he was having with himself, because usually sometimes that can be very like hit or miss. The internal conversation that was dragging along the book, it was it was the main question he was asked. He was basically asking himself when he had that, when he was talking to his police superiors. He was why does one person become X thing? It was like the narrative throughout the book was like, what makes person do this? What makes person thinks like this? You know, that was kind of cool. You know, you're asking, you would say basic questions, but you're having them attached to the plot, and it's advancing other things that'll be thought about later on. That was really cool. That was really awesome to see. You know, like he's inner monologuing, like, okay, what makes a person good? And then he'll, in his mind, think about things that make a person good. What makes a person bad? Inner monologue about what makes a person bad. And then on the pages they'll show you, because on comics most of the time they'll inner monologue, but it's not actually showing you on the page what's really actually going through their mind. But since you're the one that recommended this, I figured you're the one that'll be going through the story this time around if you want to.
I'm going through it. Okay.
That's up to you.
No, go ahead. It's your you do
this
your
piece
thing.
Was I think our art was generally subpar, but this piece was very good. I'll give him that.
I don't see how this is like any worse than, you know, any other run-of-the-mill book.
I hate you. Go ahead.
So we're introduced to John here. He's looks like he's getting hit with something or whatever, but he's asking the question, why do people do the things they do? And then he's like, oh my God, he's wearing and then he blanks out. He wakes up in a hospital and he's getting checked. And as he's coming to, he kind of sees the outline of what we would see as the Martian with the big red eye in the middle. But there's this colored smoke around him, which is rather interesting. And the doctor tells them, you know, your scans look good, a little swelling on the brain, a slight concussion. And he's starting to remember what had happened, and he was caught in an explosion, and he's lucky to be alive. So someone was doing crime.
Oh my goodness. Now I'm not going to assume the person doing crime because I already know who I would think of it, you know. Then we get to this absolute Manhunter. I notice how it doesn't say like arc or whatever. It just says absolute Martian Manhunter, because the other books were like Last Son of Krypton, Last Amazon, or whatever, the Zoo arc. This one, I guess they're not doing the whole arc thing for this book. They're just calling it, you know, the name essentially. All right.
Yeah. So he's leaving the hospital and his wife's there with him, and she wants him to stay home basically because he's never home. He's working with the FBI or the police. I can't remember right off the bat, but he's saying that he's cleared for duty. when he's technically not. He could, but he's not. They want him to rest. And the wife is like pissed because she's like, "You're cleared. Like, what the fuck? The building you were in was just exploded. Like, what is going on here?" And she's like, "I need you, and Tyler needs you." So we find out that he has a son, which is rather interesting, I think. And she said, "You're barely home since you joined the task force." And when he goes to pick up his lighter, what I thought was cool is within all the colors, right? This is, I thought, an awesome art choice. If you ever look at the green, there's always a red dot in every green.
I did see that.
Is there.
Yeah.
So like his lighter, red dot. The red dot is the cherry on the cigarette in the green. So it's like really cool, like how they're putting in these little subtle hints at the Martian Manhunter.
Oh, another piece of the dialogue earlier on was I think that he said, I think the doctor was distracted. He said his wife was banging another dude.
Oh yeah, so things are starting to seep into his head.
Yeah,
he didn't know that. That's like little thoughts and stuff are starting to seep into his brain. So he goes to talk to his bosses, and they're basically telling him, like, to stay home. And he's like, "No, I'm good. I'm good." And he's starting to hear like things that he doesn't really realize that are, people's thoughts. So that's pretty neat. But what's cool is whenever they keep asking the question, we try to understand why people do the things they do, right? So what is the reason behind him not wanting to stay at home? What is the reason is that the Martian inside of him, or is that just what happened to him after the explosion, or since getting onto this task force, right? Has it changed him? Is it leading us to say that the man is changed, but he's also going to be changing with the drastic things that are happening to him? That type of thing. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. I also like that fact that it showed all of what he was saying in his mind through these right here. That was really cool. He's because people don't know, he's actually investigating something that happened as
he was in it. And he was in it. Yeah, so he's that's what I was getting to, because that's where they say it.
God, why are you so angry?
He goes back to the building that exploded where he was investigating. He's investigating that now, like seeing what the fuck's going on here. And what's interesting is he's sitting there, he goes through the caution tape, and all of a sudden he's hearing this voice, but it's like a inner thought bubble, and it says Martian, distant, different, alien, and behind him is that smoke. And if you see in the green part on the right of the smoke, you can see the red eye, the two dots of the nose, and the little slit for the mouth. So like, as I said, like there's so much of this book that is so inventive. And
it was so cool, the fact he was forming right here in the smoke and talking. That's cool there.
That's what I mean. It's incredible. It's like really cool. Because if you look at the smoke, the black smoke coming out, right, of that door, look at the bottom on the floor. You actually see the smoke leading up to his feet where it says alien. The black shadow of the smoke. So it's like everything is revolved around his senses and his acuity to them. So does it mean whenever he finally realizes or gets attuned to them that he'll either remember who he was or come out of this funk of being trapped inside of the human body? Is that where it's leading to? So, yeah.
No, because definitely later in the book he noticed, I remember the fact that one of the ladies had smoke coming out of her ears.
So he's starting to think about the witnesses for the there's I can't remember, there's a guy, you have to refresh my memory. The mom of this guy, Mike, I guess he's the one accused of doing this.
Yes.
Okay, so he goes to talk to the guy's mom, and he's like talking to her. He's like, "Was Mike acting strangely before this?" And then he says, "How do I know the bomber's mother hates pickles? Because I always gave her to him." it gave hers to him. He's like, how do I know that? And then he goes to talk to another guy and he says, doing anything out of the ordinary? And he's like, see, this is why I didn't want to review, because I can't. Give me a second. I got to find my glasses because I can't read this small text.
You're good. You're fine.
All right. But anyway, he says, how do I know that the bomber and his lifelong best friend made love one summer and never spoke of it again, not even to each other? That's kind of hilarious.
No, the last part, he was like,
the best one is the last part. Yeah. He goes up to this woman, right? And got dogs barking. And he goes, how do I know the bomber's neighbor is telling the truth, but trying to hide her near daily cannabis use?
Whoever, that's Denise Camp. He loves his weed. That's the same guy who has definitely loved talking about his weed use. I'm not one of those weed bros. You know, I'm not one of those cool guys who was invited to the parties back in the day. I was more of a cool, rich, hot, good-looking guy that all the girls wanted to be with and all the guys wanted to be, actually, in their dreams.
Yep. So whenever he walks over to some of the rubble, right, they show the shape of the Martian.
Yes.
It's either like a parking meter or something, but it's like the outline of the Martian. And he's looking for identifiable patterns. He remembers the explosion. And he's on the ground and the colors are above him. And it's pretty interesting. And the narration is poor, trapped things light themselves on fire to escape. So
yeah,
that's rather wild.
The next part where he's talking about, I drove by my house 3 times not recognizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was trying to think, like, what is drastically making his mind not remember things about himself? But then I'm realizing maybe it's like you said, Manhunter's consciousness might be intersecting with his.
He might just. Well, I think it's that he is the Manhunter, and he went into human form because at one time John Jones was a detective. So something happened to him that stuck him in this form, and he doesn't remember that he's the Manhunter.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good. I didn't think about that.
So like the stuff's coming out. It's like he's going crazy both ways. Like crazy because like his life sucks, but also crazy because this Martian Manhunter is trying to get out of him. And he's starting to see all this stuff. And he's like, what in the fuck is going on? Because he doesn't know he's the Manhunter.
Yeah, he even says it right there after what we were just saying. I think there's something really wrong with me. You know, his wife is talking to him, you know, and she thought he was going to go on vacation. He was like, no vacation, because earlier he told his superiors he's not going to go on vacation. And then she told him to go see Tyler.
He says, you know, your son misses you. Go see him. He walks up into the bedroom and the kid's sitting there sculpting.
Definitely the best scene of the book, I will say.
He's like, is that you and mommy? He's like, these are really good, Tyler. Great job. Where am I? Where's daddy? And the kid just points at this, and it's the freaking Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, definitely the best scene right there in the book.
Yeah,
because then you're not
really cool.
Because then it plays into the theory that you had. It's like, is he looking at himself through Martian Manhunter's lens, or is he looking at it through his own lens, trying to conjure up what's been going on out of the way that Martian Manhunter's consciousness might be? It's really cool. I really enjoyed it. And he's like, I stayed awake all night, not trying not to think of the smoke, because the smoke's now constantly on his mind. And then he starts having he gets to this part where he's just having these inner monologues to himself again, thinking about other things that are going on. He's like, I'm going to be late to the office. I don't want anybody to worry, and all this other stuff after that. And then we get to another doctor visit, actually. In this doctor visit, he's still seeing smoke. And come on, why is this doctor black? If I had a black doctor, I would, oh God, I feel scared. He might rob me, actually.
So Eric the Guapo asks, so is Martian Manhunter a Martian, or did they gay it up? Well, we don't know. It's part of the mystery. We don't know if the Martian Manhunter has inhabited this dude, or if this guy is the Martian Manhunter. It's only issue number 1, and it's part of the Absolute universe. So I hope they don't tell the same story of him just being Martian Manhunter. That'd be kind of pointless.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's definitely not. Well, the
But
guy is definitely not gay. He's definitely sleeping with a woman.
no, yeah, he's definitely. I mean, no, that he means gay it up like he's not a Martian.
Oh no, I was joking.
That we don't know. We don't actually know yet, but it's looking like it's either one of two things. Either the Martian Manhunter is trapped inside this guy, or this guy is the Martian Manhunter and doesn't realize it because something happened to him where he's forgetting. Because he's forgetting a lot of things. And whenever he starts to remember stuff, it's very vague, and he's hearing people's thoughts at random. Oh my God. Said many gays sleep with women. Just look at MSK.
Whoa, that's not true. Technically, I am I'm massively straight. I've slept with 1,000 women actually. So, after his doctor visit, he talks to
that's
one of the
guy Mike. That's his mom. He goes to Mike Miller's house, the guy who supposedly did the explosion. And this is cool because like he's starting to see smoke come out of his ears, and what's really cool, but on the page before though, with the doctor, if you look at like right here where you can see like the green with that, if you look at the fingers, it's like the Martian Manhunter's like creeping up behind him, and you just see his little fingers holding on to him. It's kind of neat. So
he
he's
talks
trying
about
to
she's speaking and smoke comes out, and she's telling him it's the usual shit where like, if a cop comes over and your daughter or son did something bad, and they're like, yeah, he was a good person. He may have shot up a bank or blew up a school or fucking robbed or beat up a grandma. He was a good boy though.
Well,
He was a good guy.
what's really cool though is he calls it the smoke. Like the guy who we're seeing it from is we're trying to internalize it from his point of view. So he calls it the smoke. So when she's starting to explain stuff to him, the smoke is coming out of his ears, the colored smoke, and he breathes it in. And when he breathes it in, he goes full crazy, but he's starting to see that kid's memories. He's like, I breathe it in and inhale. I breathe in and inhale. Mike Miller's first day of school, all dressed up, adorable and terrified and full of potential. Says plus him picking flowers for his mother's birthday. And the crushed look on his face the day his mother had to tell him that his father wouldn't be coming home. And he starts to cough. And when he does, he kind of is like, oh, I got to get the hell out of here. I got to get out of here. So when he goes outside, all the smoke is like coming from these different people. They're everywhere. And he is starting to flip out. He is starting to be like, what in the fuck is going on? And seeing all these different people say stuff to him. Someone's offering him a house. He's like, but whichever way I walk, there's smoke everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's like, and where there's smoke, and then they show the explosion again. And that's where he sees everything, like different people as different colors.
Yeah.
And he's breathing it all in. He's like getting, like, you ever see, like those scenes with Superman where he's a kid and he gets his X-ray vision and he gets his super all at once and he's just freaking out because all his senses are there. Just imagine if that was like that. You're seeing all this stuff, but you're also hearing their thoughts. You're also feeling their emotions. You're also everything, like every possible thing that could be going on at the same time is happening.
Yeah. And he's also reliving the memories of the other person from when they were a kid to where they potentially might be at now. That was really cool. And he's just tripping out after that. And then it gets to this other part right here where
well, he's definitely the Martian, Eric. He's definitely the Martian. The end of the book.
Look at this page. Look at this. Look at it. Yep. What is this page?
That's basically what we said. Imagine if we were seeing and hearing all that stuff, it becomes less and less of this where it's still crazy, but he still exists, into this where it's just like he can't differentiate anything. He's going nuts.
And it does get to a point because earlier it was revealed that it was an explosion that he got almost killed by. They do show a slight glimpse of the person that caused the explosion right here after he's having his
and it was a martyr. We'll just say that.
Oh gosh. And then this was kind of cool. So before when Martian Manhunter actually appears in front of him, they have this like cool little thing right here. I don't know if you did this
Oh
because
yeah, I did.
they said
Because
to what?
you see this right here at the end when he's just standing there, and if you hold it up to the light, because the other page is backwards, you see where he was actually laying on the ground, that
Yeah.
the Martian was looking down on him, and he is the Martian. He's
Yeah.
like, we are the Martian Manhunter. So it is something inside of him because he's saying we. So that's pretty. I thought it was amazing. I love the see-through page at the end, the
Oh yeah,
chaos
that's
that
a cool
ensued.
twist. You
Yeah,
see, that's a cool thing. Other than the comic books, you know how they try to get you to do this when you're reading. It's cooler than that. That's a cool idea.
yes,
I like that.
yes. And that's
So
like,
yeah,
I thought that this book was awesome. I thought it was very different. It was in the absolute universe where we were craving something different than just your run-of-the-mill, here's a retelling of Batman, just different.
a little bit
This
different.
is freaking completely different.
Yeah, the ending of the book where he's tripping out and all the visions and memories of a bunch of other things that had happened to him, and for
Well,
when
it
it
happened
ended,
to
he
him, but
was
other people though too.
yeah, other people's lives were starting to affect him too. He's like, how am I seeing this kid grow up? It's like, what?
Well,
That was trippy as
I think
hell.
that's how they're showing you. Like when he had the conversation with the old woman and he
Yeah,
breathed in the smoke, as he called it, and he could see her kid, but he was
yeah.
seeing her memories.
Mhm.
So when he went outside and there was all the smoke and he was breathing it in,
I
he was
forget.
seeing
You're right.
everybody's stuff.
I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
It's one of his powerful abilities. He's telepathic. I keep forgetting
Yes.
that.
He's seeing everybody's stuff. He's feeling
Yeah.
their emotions. He's seeing their memories. That's why he freaked out, was on the ground, because it was like such an overload. That's why I thought that page with all the
Crazy when you first
craziness
saw
happening
him right there.
was
That was
awesome.
like that. This felt very not a cartoonish page when they like out of those like fucking Captain Underpants books. Like you have this kind of art. Right. This looked really cartoonish, but some of the pages I did like. Not all of them, but that one I liked. Where he was like, "Us, what are you? Hunt, kill, save, redeem, heal her. Now you through the smoke." And what was cool is that Martian Manhunter, you know, like aliens can talk like perfect English. You're always like, wait, how would that even make any sense? He doesn't talk perfect English, which makes perfect sense. He shouldn't talk perfect English to him. You know, that was really cool. That was cool. Oh yeah, right here. It's right here. Yeah. That was one of the coolest pages in the book, actually, in my opinion, right there. When he actually did understand what the hell was happening, that was really cool.
Yeah, well, I think he didn't maybe not understood what was, but he's saying he's finally realizing
there's another being.
There's another being inside of him, and it's really neat because issue 2 had dropped, and I got this, and I don't want to spoil it, but it's good. It's actually really good.
Even better than this?
I will say this. It's just as good, if not better.
Okay.
Because there's some really like, I like it because like if you're gonna do hold on. He said, can you close up on that page? When you want to do something different in comics, usually, like we said, it's a different retelling, but they keep it familiar enough to where you're like, so here, I'll show you, Eric. So this right here, I'll go through the cool pages with you. This right here is where he starts to see the smoke come out of the woman's ears. This is the mother of the person who supposedly did the bombing. And whenever the smoke comes out, he inhales it. And that's when he starts seeing her memories of her son. So see, it like goes in his nose and it's starting to form. And there's all these memories up here, like these boxes, right? So he coughs it out and he's like, I got to get out of here. But when he does, there's all these people and you start seeing all the smoke come off of them. And they're like, you know, someone's wants to sell a house. It's like almost like a montage scene where someone's trying to get away from somewhere.
Cool montage. Yep.
Everybody's like, you want some coffee? You want this? And you're like, I just need to get out of here. So
that
then
scene you were talking about earlier.
Hold on a second. He asked me to show him this.
Okay.
So then it goes to here where all the smoke from all the people's going around and he's surrounded by everybody and he's breathing it in. So whenever that happens, that's where it gets all crazy. And he goes from seeing it and now like they're forming words and all this stuff's happening and you start to see the Martian and it's going in him. You see the last thing he sees is the red dot, and this is the page you were talking about. He's coughing, he's seeing all these memories, seeing all these people, seeing all this stuff, but inside is the red dot. And he's like, what in the hell is going on? And that's what brings you to, I'll skip that one. That's what brings you to the last page.
Yeah.
Where it's him realizing, and there's the Martian finally. And whenever you do this, I'll see if I can get some light in between. Let's see. Let me see if I can do this.
Yeah, because they said to activate your Martian vision, please take page 25 to the comic book in your hands and hold it up to the light. Use a lamp, a reading light, or the sun itself. It's up to you.
You can't really tell, but you could see I see behind.
You do.
From behind there.
I see.
You could see the Martian, but in this you can actually see it a lot better. But when you hold this page up, because if you were trying to read the page on the other way, it's backwards. So you actually see it from this point of view. See like that?
Yeah.
That's what's showing through on his actual face.
Also, what I wanted to bring up earlier was that
it's not the emotional spectrum. It's more like memories. It's memories and the emotions and whatever he's sussing out at the time. So, like, I don't think it's like that he knows exact. One person might be a thought, right? Because he was like not able to control it. Like he talked to someone earlier in the book, and when he was following up with the explosion, he's like seeing the smoke come off the person. He's like, okay, she might be telling. How do I know she's telling the truth? But she doesn't want anybody to know that she smokes a lot of weed. Like, so that part was him like knowing something. That was the psychic ability coming through. And then other parts were like, whenever all the smoke came out, that was him seeing those memories. I think it was just the powers of the Martian Manhunter coming through, and that's how he visualized it, internalized it. So he was seeing all those things. That's what I said, Guapo. I said that was an awesome idea. And like I said, when I read it, because at first I didn't want to read the book, but when I read it, I was like, wow, that's different and that's cool. That's something new and exciting.
I wanted to add to this point because I know you talked about it earlier, which was something that I was thinking about after I saw this page. You know how all the kid just points to him as the Martian Manhunter little toy that he thought he made. I was thinking when I was reading it, what if this isn't the first time he's actually been Martian Manhunter? Maybe he can take over his body at will, and he has no recollection of it because maybe he appeared that way in front of the sun, and the sun just saw him like that. You know, because it's
his son. What if that kid is part? What if the Martian Manhunter had already been inside of John when he had sex with his wife, and that kid is half of and sees things also? We don't know. I mean, but you are right. It's a very cool idea, and I thought it was neat. I thought it was really cool, and I thought the art was great for the story and the style of story they are telling. Me personally,
that last part, he was like, "We are Martian Manhunter." It's like, okay. It's like, have we heard enough "we are's"? We are Venom. Oh God, at least it was better than that. I'll say that. But no, overall, really, really fun book. I enjoyed it. Outside of the few issues that I had. Other than that, if you are buying this in single issues right now before this does become a trade, in this specific book right here, in this number 1, you do get a 2-page preview of Absolute Green Lantern number 1. So if you want to get introduced to that, maybe that might be your thing. that's there. But no, what I also enjoy with some of these books more recently compared to the older ones that I would read, the ads have been way better. At least DC books have way better ad control than Marvel books do. Way better. It's not even close, honestly. But no, I enjoyed this. It was fun. Can't wait to read issue 2. But I'll get your final thoughts and opinions on Absolute Martian Hunter #1.
I thought it was cool. It was different. It was what an Absolute universe should be, and that's, the different story, and we'll see where it goes from here, but I enjoyed it. He says, who is Absolute Green Lantern going to be? I can tell you that the story it's about all of the Green Lanterns.
That's kind of been DC's angle with the Green Lantern.
It's a story about all of them, but it's more or less about something with Hal and how they're going to deal with it, because what happened, I don't want to ruin any of that book either. That one was pretty crazy.
Yep. So for me, overall, I did enjoy the book. This is something that is definitely different, and that's good when you're talking about a alternate universe. Outside of, my own personal opinion, I think the art is just a little bit subpar, but that's essentially it. Everything else is completely fine. Can't wait to read issue 2. So far, the Absolute line is delivering on some books. The others have been interesting. I'll just say that.
I like Batman, Superman, the Martian Manhunter. Flash is only a couple issues in, but I've enjoyed it. That's been completely bananas. That's been the one book where it's like, we're just going to tell ridiculous something. You're not even going to understand what the hell's going on for a minute here. And it's been bizarre. Green Lantern, I thought the end of the Green Lantern book with the reveal was fucking crazy, because I want to know what the hell's going on with Hal, but I'm also excited that all the other characters are in it. I think that's cool.
There's one thing I wanted to ask you before we get out of the review. Whenever you read some of these new comic books, do you notice the ink being not good?
Sometimes, yeah.
Do you notice that? So I've tested this. I make sure to wash my hands before I read the books, and my hands are dry. My hands are completely dry. And you get all these smudges on the book.
Could be the oil on your hands.
Yeah. So
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, it doesn't matter to me. I'm gonna buy the stuff in trade anyway, where that doesn't matter, honestly. But just some of these single issues, man, I don't know what's going on with some of this paper, but man, this stuff is smearing insanely bad. But then again, these are you read in for the review and then you just wait for the trade to talk about the more fuller arc, actually. But outside of that, overall, yeah, enjoyable, fun, different kind of book. That's kind of what I want out of this line: fun, enjoyable, different kind of stuff. Not, well, Batman, you just don't have any money and you just have your mom. Well, that's really different, right? It's like, is that really different?
I mean, it is fundamentally different with the entire psyche of the character.
That is true. So, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you've not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're going to sign out, guys. See you guys later. Peace. I am putting this up. Maybe there might have been oil on my hands because I was eating chicken. But I washed my hands. Crazy. A black guy eating chicken before he read a comic book. Stereotypical. Oh my goodness.
Let me go put this up. Is Kilowog in it? He's always been, well, not as of yet, but they're not in space. It's kind of hard to explain. It's just something you'll have to read.
So
or look at or watch a review of. It's a little bit too much to get into, to be honest.
Next week, we'll probably end up just finishing up where Absolute Batman's at, because I have issue 7. So we'll just read that, because issue 8 drops to issue 8 dropped last week. Yeah, issue 8 dropped last week. So we'll do Absolute Batman #7, or we'll do Absolute Flash #1. We'll see what my mind is up and feeling for. But no, that was really cool, trippy. Denise Camp, stop doing drugs. I can tell you, fucking guys, loves his drugs. But yep, that's pretty much it, because Laps has to go to bed because he is dead inside.
I'm old.
Why are you old?
Well, I have 11 minutes left, so we could talk till 9.
Oh,
that's what we could do.
Would you like a hug?
Nope. But I mean, I'm not as opposed to the absolute universe as some people are. I look at it as they're telling better stories, in my opinion, than the regular universe, which is sad because it should be the opposite way around.
Yeah, in theory, you shouldn't need to have an alternate universe to tell these kind of stories. You should just be telling these stories in the main continuity anyway. But that's why I think the reason why they put Absolute Martian Manhunter at 6 issues wasn't just because of the storytelling. It's the fact that if it's only just 6 issues, they can just have a excuse to just have a new number 1 with the second arc of the story act potentially. You can be like, Absolute Martian Manhunter number 1. Oh yeah, new number 1. All these variant covers. Fucking bastards, actually. But who knows if they'll do that.
I'll say this: Absolute Wonder Woman started off okay, and it just, to me, it just kind of faded a little bit.
I think Kelly Thompson's just writing for trade. That's what it feels like.
I mean, it could be. He said 9. It's 5. You going
9 minutes?
No, I live in the Eastern time zone, so it is 8:51 p.m. right now.
Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, he has to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, so he would have to go to sleep like around 9 p.m., 10:30 latest. You know?
I try. Listen, I try my hardest.
Yeah,
lay there in bed.
That's the number one thing I can't understand when people say, dude. It's like, yeah, just lay down and go to bed. It's like, that's just not how that works at all.
Yeah.
So I only mean that from a sales point of view. I think if they do a issue 7 because it just sells very well, that's awesome. But I think what they initially thought was like, hey, this is gonna have high sale numbers for issues 1 and 2. If we'll test the waters on it, we'll give it 6 issues. If there's enough demand for it, we'll continue it. But if it doesn't, we can have the second story arc for his character launch with a new number 1. I mean, that's just what I think. I don't have any proof of that, but knowing how these companies have functioned with new number 1s for the last
he does.
Years.
He does get the short end of the stick. He does.
Yeah, even in Absolute Power, that was my biggest problem with Absolute Power. Is like, hey, we have all these characters, and that's the double-edged sword with that. You can't focus on all of them, but you have Martian Manhunter. It's one of the strongest characters in your arsenal. Why is he not?
If you remember, he didn't get his powers.
You're right. Yeah.
So, and did you ever read? Do you know what happened?
Reading black people.
Okay, so what happens is Gorilla Grodd gets his powers.
Oh, goodness gracious! We're talking about the new event, right?
We are yesterday or tomorrow.
We are yesterday tomorrow. Or somewhat tomorrow, but we are in the future.
We are somewhat one of the days of the week.
It's that Mr. Krabs thing. I think he told SpongeBob, but what you put off today is somewhat tomorrow. Whatever he was saying in that episode. Yeah. What a weird name for an event. We are yesterday. What's that supposed to?
We are tomorrow or whatever it's. I can't remember what it's called, to be honest.
No, it's called We Are. Yeah, okay. No, you're right. It's just like, but who makes up these names?
I don't know. I did go out and I bought a couple of new pairs of shoes. They re-released the Jordan 1 Carolinas, so I bought those.
Oh, I like those. Those are cool.
And then they re-released the Jordan 12 Carolinas, so I bought those too.
You got no problem with keeping your white shoes clean?
Does it? I wore these already. Does it look like they're dirty?
You wore them to like you said the gym where you play basketball too?
No, I have like actual basketball shoes. I mean, yes, those are, but I'm not gonna play basketball in those. I just wear them for like every day.
Do you feel like Jordan when you're playing basketball and you would wear those?
No. I am in no way, shape, or form anywhere near as good at anything as Michael Jordan was at basketball. I fall short as in a lot of things, MSK.
Oh God! Whenever I played basketball, I knew I was basically the embodiment of Kobe Bryant and Stephen Curry and Michael Jordan in one guy. You know?
Right.
Glad you believe me.
I do. I do. We'll play one day.
Goodness gracious, my back is killing me, man.
Oh, shut up.
I tore my Achilles heel, man. I have to heal for 2 years.
We're gonna play one day, and it's gonna be streamed live.
Good. We should do that. We should. I could get together some people for that. That's actually an easy.
Oh, we're playing 1-on-1 first. Me versus you.
You're old. I'll embarrass you.
What's gonna be worse? You thinking you embarrass me and me whoop you 10-0 straight? What's gonna be worse?
I didn't play basketball in school. I only played like street pickup games or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. The sport I played in high school was tennis. I played 2 years of that.
Yeah, no, I did not. I'm not good I've tried tennis. I think it takes a lot of athleticism to play tennis.
Oh, it does. A lot of people
Those
think it's
guys
easy.
women are in shape. They're fantastic athletes.
Yeah, anyone who thinks tennis is easy, you could not hit a ball. It takes practice to hit a ball actually properly, and it's, whew. I was always hot Riz master at that. But no, I enjoy playing tennis. If people want to go play out here, I play. I have a racket.
I played soccer in high school. Well, I played since I was a little kid. Yeah, I got to play like before I left, high school.
They're the guys' team, Eric. Not just play on the girls' team. I don't invade with women's spaces.
I played soccer. I got picked for our state select team, which was cool as a freshman. I thought that was pretty fun. But then I left school, so that kind of stopped. But I played
one of the high schools that had like a swim team or whatever.
I transferred to Taylor Alderdice High School in Pittsburgh. Okay. They had a swim team. They had a hockey team. They had like they were kind of like the rapper Mac Miller. Remember that guy?
Yeah, it sounds super familiar. Yeah.
He lived in that area and he went to the same school. I'm a lot older than him, obviously, but that Blue Slide Park song, that's actually about Frick Park, which is right next to Taylor Alderdice High School.
I wanted to do wrestling. I did, but
boxing, man, that's amazing, Eric. Boxing is probably my second favorite sport. I love it. Me and my brother, that's one of the things we do. We'll get together.
Karate?
He is. I trained for years, but nowhere near as good as my brother is. No.
So you're not Jackie Chan.
No, my name's Steve.
God, why? You're the most basic white guy name. I thought you'd be like a Jeff or something.
That's terrible. Jeff. Or wait, what did you call it at first? Geoff?
I literally used to call him Geoff. I'm not kidding.
You did.
It sounds like Geoff though. If you actually, there's no way someone pronounces that as Jeff. He does not get that for fucking Johns. No way.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just an illiterate. Maybe that's just a me problem.
Yeah.
Oh, James, my friend, he did cross country, like track and all that stuff. I didn't want to do that. That just looks so gay, honestly. People said to learn chess. I do want to learn chess, actually. I know how to play checkers, but chess is
why would you play chess whenever you're Shikamaru? Shouldn't you be playing shogi?
I never learned. Is there? I would learn it.
I can play it. I'm pretty good. Nowhere near as good as some old, but I know it.
Yeah, he whooped my ass one day when I told him I wanted to quit and do boxing year round. Oh my God. That's how dads are. Yeah, and you factor from his point of view, if he's paying for all that equipment and all those physicals and all that stuff, it's an understandable thing. Dads just want to push their sons, and I think
more dads. No, that's not true because my dad never saw me play shit.
That's the sad thing of my life.
Dude, you want to hear a story? You want to hear? Okay, I'll tell you a quick story. This is honest, true story. Like I said, whenever I was little and we lived in New Jersey before my parents joined the crazy cult church, my dad came to all my soccer games, everything I did, t-ball, baseball, I did pee-wee wrestling, stuff like that. When we got here, it was all about church. So that was it. And our soccer dinner, it was like an athlete's dinner. They had like the football team, soccer team, baseball, all that stuff. They had a big dinner. And it was on a Wednesday. Well, they went to church Wednesday night, right? And first of all, I had to beg to go, and it was bad, dude. They made this big giant deal about it, and we had to talk to the pastor to let me go, and he was like, "Just let him go, right? It's fine." So I got a ride with one of the kids from my soccer team, right? That was on my soccer team, and well. It was a parent and child function, right? So when they didn't show up and we had to go up, I accepted an award because I was the only freshman on the varsity team. We had to take pictures with our parents. Well, the kid that I went with, he was 2 years ahead of me. I took a picture with his parents and him, right? Because my parents didn't show up, and on it, he messaged me every single year because it's on his parents' like fireplace. It says the Heislers, Brandon was his name, and his dad, mom, whatever their name, and Steven Slemmer. So it like he messages me and sends me the picture every year. He's like, "You're still on my parents' fireplace." He's like, "How sad is that?" He was like, "You're one step away from like taking a picture with the janitor."
How do you constantly yourself are in these situations? You were homeless, you did drugs,
I mean,
and
dude, I was homeless because what was I supposed to do?
you must have
Stay
really
in
did
that
not like your dad.
situation?
Yeah, you must have hated your dad. Holy
Not
shit.
that I hated my dad, I hated the freaking church. I
Good
hated how
lord.
my life changed because of a church. I hated how like I went from living like a normal regular kid
Yeah, I
life
remember
like
you had said
to
your parents were
going to
like
the
super
most
religious.
strict crazy shit, dude. Like and it was bothersome and like I did not like it and I
Mhm.
couldn't last that long and like it was either be homeless and live on my own or continue to go down that train and it would have led to not good. Put it that way. I was getting violent and I was getting like I would have gotten my ass kicked or something would have happened. Like it just wasn't good.
Yeah, like I always say this. I know people love their respective religions. I just tell people this: I don't exactly need a religion to know
It
what's right
was
or wrong
it
from.
was kind of
You
culty
know,
there, Eric. It was
I mean,
definitely
for being
culty.
completely honest, there isn't religion somewhat culty. And I'm
It
not saying
all
it's a
I
full on
mean,
cult,
well,
but
depending on the organized religion, there's non-denominational churches that just read the Bible and then they go home and it's like
yeah.
you're free to go and come as you please. That's a little
Mhm.
bit different than this was like, nah, man, like they answered their phone, praise the Lord. They
Yeah.
freaking everybody you know someone in the church, their brother this or sister this, and you have to call them that. You say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. Like if you're hanging out with another child in the church, you get in trouble. That parent is allowed to spank you. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I was never spanked until we got here, and this I was over at one of the kids, right? I'm not going to name names, not that you would
Mhm.
know, but if for anyway, their dad was this crazy freaking dude, man. He was this giant of a human, right? And we were outside playing with the little army men, the little green army
Remember
men,
those? Yeah.
and we tied this little like yarn string around, like the string you tie up like plants with and stuff. We were tied it around a tree and we would loop it through the hole in the army men so they could slide down, right? And we put it into the ground, and I was like, "This is what happened." His dad was working in the yard, and I was like, "Oh man, that's awesome!" Right? This dude threw down his freaking rake and got in my face. Now, mind you, I'd been there for like a month, right?
Mhm.
And he went, "That's not awesome. Only God is awesome." And I was like, and he told me and his son to go. They had like a screened in porch. And he was like, "You go guys, so sit in there." And I looked at him, I was like, "What is happening?" And he goes, "Oh, we're gonna get the rod." That's what they call it, the rod.
Oh
It's
my
a
god.
fucking dowel rod, dude. Just a fucking curtain rod. And I looked at him and I was like, "Excuse me? They're doing what?" I didn't even grab my shoes. I took off and I ran home. So yeah, I got double beat that night because I didn't know dude, I never been spanked before in my life. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Like, why am I getting spanked for saying awesome?
So
Yeah,
your parents just
crazy shit.
basically they went from non-religious to being completely
They
religious
they
fanatics?
they were they were religious, but not in like the take over your life
Like
stage.
a like so they would be one of those like lukewarm Christians that they talk about
Yeah,
in the
they
Bible?
had faith and stuff like that, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was
But it
it
wasn't
was
like super
crazy.
full-blown fanatic. Yeah. No, there's stories that I can't tell you guys about some of these churches I went to. One of them, the original black church I used to go to, had a incest incident that I can't speak about. Not that I was involved in it, and I don't have any sisters, not my brothers,
Is
but it's
that
just
is that how you were born?
no, the mom. So the mom. I was at Walmart shopping one night, and I think I was buying like banana bread, and some chips, and some chicken. Typical black guy stuff. I have to do the stereotypical thing for you guys. I was checking out my items because the self checkout was too long, and the lady's mom was there, and I didn't notice her because I don't, I told you, same with you. I don't really go outside unless I really have to, like unless it's a store, gym, or work. If it's not those three things, I'm not going
The
outside.
gym. Huh. I don't believe that. You're going to
And
see
she's
your
just
boyfriend,
telling me
Jim.
this, and she's just telling me the story about how her daughter was basically originally, before the incidents happened, her daughter was dating a guy in the church that was like 20 at the time. She was like 12. It was like back when I was maybe like
That's crazy.
14. That's right. The guy doesn't get kicked out
That's crazy.
because reasons. I don't know why
Yeah.
I know the pastor very well. I've known him for a long time. I don't know why he would kick the guy out. I don't know if he knows. I'll say that I'm not sure if he knew. Then the mom goes on another story and she says, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, how's she doing now?" She's like, "Oh, well, I ended up having sex with her brother." I'm like, so I was like, "You're fucking with me. Like, you trick you." She's like, "Yeah." She's like, being serious. She like has sex with her. I was like, this is a black person. Oh my god. I was like,
this is a black person. So
and
obviously that never happens.
I was
what
like, so what's going on? So she lives with potentially the family that allows that. So, oh
That's
god,
gross.
just disgusting.
Yeah, but anyway, back to
yeah,
Planet Reality.
Reality? No, I was that girl was a something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Back to Planet Reality.
She's not in reality. She's in.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying we're getting
Shaniqua
away from that and coming back to reality. My goodness.
God, snap back to reality. Oh no, you're not being Eminem from 8 Mile. No, damn it.
All right.
Guess who's
So,
back? Guess who's
Martian
back?
Manhunter issue 2.
Yeah, next week we'll be doing either Absolute Flash or Absolute Batman, one of them. And then, Dingus Den, I'll have him on at some point so we could do a comic book review of something. He gave me his pull list, so I'll have to see what he's going to be good for.
Did you do a show with that dude yet?
Yeah.
Oh, how was it?
It was good. He helped me with the Monday show last night because I literally had no one. Everyone, Gray had his anniversary. Bob was recovering from his dentist appointment.
Didn't message me.
No, wait. I thought you were, because the show's at 7. You'd be asleep by then.
I know, but there's times where you've asked me and I said okay.
I'll be honest here. I thought you weren't available Monday, so I was like, he's probably asleep already.
Dude, wasn't it like last week or the week before I was on, like 4 days?
Technically, to be fair, those were planned, so you already knew they were coming up.
No. 2 of them were not planned. The one Monday and Tuesday was.
Oh God.
The other ones weren't planned. You were just like, "Oh, so can you come?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Iron, he passed out after he got off work. So no, Dingus came in really clutch last night and helped us with the show, which is awesome. Next week I won't have that issue. Most Mondays I never have that issue. It's just that week was like, what the
no, I understand.
But I'll make sure that if I don't have anyone, there's a few people left, I'll make sure.
Oh man, we need to do another we need to get the boys together soon.
The boys.
It's
you
been
think
a while.
You're part of the boys? You think you're one of us?
No, I meant like my boys that like me, and then everybody who sits there and tolerates you.
Oh God, jeez. No, but those conversations are fun. I'm trying to think of another thing I want to do, because last time we did comic book hot takes, we might we might do like a tier list or something like that the next time of something.
Actually, you know what? We could do.
You know, I was thinking
top 3
porn movies.
No. Top 3 events, like modern events, and then top 3 older events or something along those lines.
Oh, I was gonna suggest we could rank all the Spider-Man movies.
How about we just talk about superhero movies in general? How about that?
Is it, I correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Spider-Man a superhero?
I'm saying all of them.
Like, good Lord. You know how long it would take to rank those?
No, I didn't say rank them. I said talk about.
Oh, talking. Good Lord. So,
and you call him Spider-Man? Isn't it Spider-Man?
Spider. Or that's what Peter said to Kingpin in the Insomniac one. Make sure you spell Spider-Man with a hyphen between spider and man. I never put the hyphen between it. I just put it Spider-Man. That's just me. I don't use the hyphen.
Spider-Man.
Speeder. Oh, I don't know what is up with DC and their Crisis on Infinite Earths, Final Crisis, Infinite Crisis. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earth.
I mean, those three are easy to follow, though.
Crisis Did you like Infinite Crisis?
Yeah, I loved Infinite Crisis.
People said that's their best event. One of the best ones they've ever did.
It's got some of the stupidest stuff in it, but it's got some of the best stuff in it too.
Okay.
I mean, it's a John's event. You know what I mean? Like, it's.
Oh, wait a minute. We're not. I know we talked about the Night Terrors omnibus. We need to get the Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths omnibus for you whenever that comes out. Hardcover, 1,500 pages.
No, don't ever do that.
And you got to do. Oh, come on, man! You got to be like Near Mint Condition. You got to do an overview. Hey, it's me. I'm Laps. I'm doing overview of the Dark Crisis on.
Look, I already bought the trade for $1. Then the dollar bin.
Amazon these sellers were yucking that shit for $3, and I was like, all right, it's $3. Fuck it, you know. But yeah, we'll be heading out of here in just a moment here. Anything you want to let the audience know about before we head out?
No. I get a 3-day week. I get 3 days off coming up.
So you could be on the Monday show technically next week. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Ooh, because if everyone comes back, we won't have too many people technically. Well, we'll see. Cross the bridge when we get to it. Absolute crisis. We mean it this time. So many crises. Fucking Marvel's all about war. DC's all about having crises. People are fucking insane, honestly.
Whenever DC actually the characters started calling them crises, is when I was just like,
oh God, yes, it's gonna be a busy weekend. I mean, Memorial Day weekends are typically busy, but it's the Monday that is usually you just fisted and analed in the ass constantly. Oh my God.
All right, folks. On that note, I'm going to bed.
Yeah. So thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK show, and we'll see you guys later. If you guys are just watching me and Lab's Comics Fan show, we'll be back next Tuesday. Obviously, we're going to review either Absolute Batman issue number 7 or Absolute Flash issue number 1. But you guys have a great day.